Hello everyone, my name is Easy and welcome to another episode of Easy Does It, where we review and react to YouTube channels and sometimes do daily vlogs. Now this week we're going to take a look at a channel called Lazy Masquerade. He's from the UK. He's been on since June of 2006. He's got over 1 million subscribers, so he's doing fairly well. And basically, the channel is like, sometimes he does videos, or video clips, and sometimes he does like, stories or whatever. He recounts certain stories of, true crime and paranormal. So he does a lot of that kind of stuff, mystery type stuff. We're going to check out one of his latest. I just posted it not too long ago. It's called Last Photos and Videos with Disturbing Backstories. I'm going to check it out, see what he's like, and here we go.
If, like me, you want to enjoy your favorite music and podcasts uninterrupted, you'll be thrilled to hear about the latest up.
No, thank you. Moving on. A selfie, huh?
This was the Western Complex of Continuous Education, situated in Moscow, Russia.
No.
An institution for students too disruptive to attend ordinary high school. A place for the unruly and academically uninterested to learn a trade skill such as woodworking. One of the school's former students was 18-year-old Andrei Emelianenko, a quiet and introverted young man who was sent to the complex because of his terrible attendance record at his previous school. The problem Andrei had was that he was far more interested in playing video games than studying. Now, of course, most boys his age would rather be playing Dark Souls than learning about dark matter, but Andrei whittled away nearly all of his waking hours in front of his computer screen and barely ever showed up for any of his classes. An institution with tougher, no-nonsense educators was just the boot up the backside that Andrei needed. At least, that's what everyone hoped. Though he had few friends in the real world, Andrei was extremely active on gaming forums and had built himself a fairly large social circle online. One of those internet friends, Margarita, described him as a completely ordinary guy with a good sense of humor. Though obviously, when you're dealing with people through a monitor, you can never truly be sure they are the person that they present themselves to be. Indeed, Andrei seemed to be living vicariously through the sites he visited and the games he played. His avatar was the fanatical antagonist from Silent Hill 4, The Room, Walter Sullivan, a calm and shy killer who, in the game, carved a string of numbers into his victims, and who ended his own existence by severing an artery in his neck. But what his fellow forum users didn't know was that Andrei didn't just appreciate Walter Sullivan. He idolized him.
I played the first 3.
In the latter months of 2017, Andrei began complaining to his friends online about his health and safety lecturer, Sergei Danilov. The pair had gotten into numerous disputes that semester. A former army officer and father of 3, Mr. Danilov didn't tolerate bad behavior, backchat, or tardiness, and it's believed that Andrei's apathy during his classes was the cause of much friction. One of their so-called conflicts had gotten so heated that Mr. Danilov was preparing to have Andrei expelled from the Polytechnic. Andrei would tell his friends, "I'm gonna kill that guy sooner or later." But since dark and edgy humor made up about half of their friendship circle's conversations, nobody took him seriously. Such jokes were common on our forum, recounted one former user. We didn't pay those comments much attention. One thing the other users did pick up on, though, was how Andrei began ending his messages with the hashtag 11117. When they asked him what the number was meant to signify, Andrei never explained, but its purpose soon became crystal clear. On November 1st, 2017, Andrei attended his Wednesday classes on Gavardeskaya Street as per usual. but his studies were the last thing on his mind.
Uh-huh.
During a break period, Andre made his way to Mr. Danilov's classroom on campus and found the lecturer alone, his back facing the door. With a toothpick in his mouth and a kitchen knife in his hand, Andre quietly approached Mr. Danilov from behind and, in a furious rage, plunged the blade into his neck. The 44-year-old health and safety teacher collapsed to the floor, unable to scream for help. Andre then posed for 2 selfies, one with his victim's body, which I can't show here, and a second, which I can. Andre posted this image to his VK page immediately after taking Sergei Danilov's life, along with a song by Chicago-based band November's Doom. In the image, a gleeful Andre posed with a power saw, which he had taken from the school's workshop, his toothpick still hanging from his mouth. But he didn't take this photo as a sick memento to look back on in years to come, but rather as a memento mori for others to think on. Minutes after posting this photo, Andre would use that same saw to slice his own throat. Another teacher would later enter the class and find Mr. Danilov lying in the middle of the room, and Sergei under one of the desks. Medics were summoned, but the 2 men were deemed DOA. Speaking of their fallen teacher, Mr. Danilov, an anonymous student said, "He was a very kind person. He was strict, but he was fair. He was like a father to us. I have no single bad thought about him. Regardless of what was happening, he was our support. He always tried to help us." The band November's Doom also spoke out about the incident, stating in a press release, "To the families and friends of all involved, our utmost and sincere apologies for the pain you're going through, and we as a collective hope you find the strength to get through this unfortunate event.
Okay.
We do not and would never condone this sort of use of our art and our music. We create the style of music we do to reach people on an emotional level.
There's some nut jobs out there.
Something like this sickens us beyond words." The authorities have since determined that Andre was motivated by a so-called online death group, whose members egged each other on to play games of life or death, though how they came to that conclusion remains unclear.
Some weirdos out there. You never know. Just never know. Taxi
Born in
bank
1954,
incident.
Rosario Endrenal grew up in a relatively poor household.
I guess that's how you say
Thanks to her high IQ, good looks, and bubbly personality though, Charo, as she preferred to be called, had managed to make a decent life for herself. She married a man named Luis Rodriguez, and in 1981 they welcomed their daughter, Xantar, into the world.
Xantara?
Thanks to her fluency in foreign languages,
Are you
Charo landed herself
kidding
a
me?
well-paying job at the Spanish superstore, Brica. Things
Some
fell
of
apart
these
for Charo in
fucking
1995, and she
millennial
ran off with an
parents and
executive
shit.
from her company. A
Man,
Frenchman
they just
named
fucking
Jean
name
got
their
Charo
kids
hooked on
all
cocaine,
kinds of weird
and before
shit.
long, her fondness for the substance spiraled out of
I
control.
feel sorry for some of these
She would go
kids
on to lose her
that
job,
have parents that
and
fucking
having had his fun, Jean abandoned
name their
Charo on the
kids
streets
weird
of
ass
Paris,
names.
leaving her with nothing but a lifelong
It's just
addiction to
fucked
remember
up.
him by. Charo returned to Barcelona and tried to reconnect with her husband and daughter, but by that point they had turned their back on her. Now homeless and jobless, Charo would spend the next 5 years alone, sleeping inside a Caixa Bank ground floor vestibule, a small enclosed area
What, she's
that housed
sleeping
an
in a
ATM.
bank?
The bank was located in the affluent San Gervasi neighborhood, and Charo had once worked there before falling on hard times. In the early hours of December 16th, 2005, a now 51-year-old Charo was again sleeping on a bed of cardboard in that same enclosed booth. At about 1:30 a.m., 2 18-year-olds whom she had never met, Ricard Pinilla and Oriol Plana, entered the booth and began to hurl insults at Charo. They kicked her, threw garbage at her, and struck her with a plastic bottle and a traffic gun, after which the 2 men went outside to find more items to hit her with. This photo captured the moment that Charo managed to lock them both outside of the vestibule, and, unable to get back inside, the men departed. This was unfortunately far from the first time that such an occurrence had happened to Charo. She had often been attacked by other territorial homeless people and angry drunks. As such, she knew that calling the police wouldn't achieve anything, and so now believing
Even
herself
though
to be
they
safe,
shouldn't be
she was
attacking
simply
her, they
knocked out
said
and went
she
back to
shouldn't be
sleep.
sleeping in a fucking bank either.
Several hours
That's
later,
just dumb.
at 4:20 a.m., a 16-year-old named Juan Jose Mera knocked on the booth's door and told Charo that he needed to use the ATM. Charo let him in, unaware that Juan Jose was in cahoots with Ricard and Oriol. This image of Charo opening the door is the last captured of her alive.
Well, what the
Juan
fuck?
Jose, Ricard, and Oriol entered the booth.
She doesn't own or work the bank, so why the fuck is she letting
Ricard
him
and Juan
in?
Jose then left briefly. Meant 30 minutes later,
It
returned
don't
with
make no
25
sense.
liters of Universal Thinner 039, an industrial paint thinner. As Oriol held the door,
And why is the bank
Juan Jose
not
and
doing
Ricard
anything
doused
about
Charo in
fucking
the
her
flammable
living there?
substance. Ricard then ignited her using his cigarette. They fled the scene, laughing as Charo was engulfed in flames that burned at 400 degrees Celsius. Firefighters arrived at
What
the
the
scene shortly
fuck,
thereafter
man?
and found Charo clinging to life. With
Some of these
70% of her
kids
body covered in
nowadays are
burns.
just fucking,
She would
they're
pass away 28 hours
deranged,
later
they're
while receiving
lunatics.
treatment. The whole incident was
It's
captured
fucking
by one of the bank's
crazy.
surveillance cameras. The footage sparked nationwide outrage in Spain, and the attackers were quickly
Oh,
identified
this is
and arrested.
in Spain.
Once in custody, Ricard and Oriol were severely beaten
Still,
by other inmates, and one of them
this
had their head
generation's
shaved.
fucked in the head.
Juan Jose's case was handled by the juvenile court.
I mean,
During their trial,
all of
Ricard and
Gen
Oriol's
Z
defense
is like
team
that,
attempted
but
to downgrade their charge from murder
this
to
is the
manslaughter,
worst
claiming the
generation
fire was
we've ever
started
had.
accidentally.
They're
The jury
bad.
saw through that, especially when the
Not,
prosecution revealed videos
I don't
found
mean
on
they're
Ricard's
all
phone.
like
Videos which showed the
terrible
children attacking
people
and
again.
humiliating other homeless
I'm
people.
just saying, the
This
vast
would come to
majority,
light. The three defendants were ideologically
you know,
opposed
the
to
way they've
homelessness,
grown up with the
but
tech,
rather than try and
the
help the
social
less fortunate through
media,
charitable means,
they're
they
just
decided they wanted to simply wipe
turning
them
them
from the
into
streets
nut
of Spain.
jobs.
In November 2008, Ricard and Oriol were each given a 17-year sentence for intentionally ending Charo's life, while Juan Jose received 8 years behind bars and 5 years of supervised release. Given this incident occurred more than 18 years ago, all three of them are now free men. In fact, Ricard was released early in 2016, having served just 11 years. He justified his past actions by saying he was insecure and had low self-esteem, and claims to feel extreme remorse.
Oh, I'm sure.
Though personally, I'm skeptical.
Oh,
Charo's daughter, Santal, has since expressed
this was a long
that the
time
three killers
ago.
did more than just end Charo's life that day.
They
also
might not have
destroyed
been
any
Gen
chance
Z. This
of the
might have
mother and
been
daughter reconciling.
millennials. I think half the
On a day like
millennials
today,
are fucking
my
nut
mother could have
jobs
decided to
too.
accept help and become again the woman she had once been.
Our
That
society,
was
all
taken
around
from
the
her.
world, with the social media and crap, just started creating fucking nut jobs.
This is the last photo of Nirupama Prajapati, captured mere moments before her life came to an abrupt end. On January 3rd, 2021, Nirupama and her friends were picnicking near a scenic waterfall in India's Kanakund, otherwise known as the Grand Canyon of Odisha. After their meal, the group
That
decided
didn't
to
look
walk
like
towards the
India
banks
to
of the
me.
raging Ib River and take some pictures for their social media pages. Immediately after this image was taken, Nirupama turned her focus to capturing the perfect selfie along the Ib's rocky ledge. One of her companions filmed what happened next. A man, who also happened to be taking selfies beside the churning waters, lost his balance and inadvertently nudged Nirupama, causing her to lose her footing and tumble into the rapids.
Oh, that dude
The
went
water
down.
was shallow, but incredibly strong, and though Nirupama managed to cling to the rocks briefly, she was soon overpowered by the current and swept downstream.
Oh,
Following a grueling 22-hour
did
search
they
by the
die?
fire brigade and her loved ones, Nirupama's remains were located the following day in a stone
Yep,
crevice
they died.
400 meters downstream, wedged under a rock.
yeah, that
She'd been
sucks.
carried over the nearby waterfall.
Well, accidents happen.
Unfortunately, Nirupama's case is just one in a long line of selfie-related fatalities in India. In recent years, tourists have fallen from great
Oh, I
heights,
thought that
been
looked
struck
more
by
like
cars and
Africa. I
trains,
could be
and been
wrong,
mauled
but
by wildlife,
I thought that was
all while trying to
Africa.
snap the perfect selfie. In
He says
2018, for
India,
instance,
but it
a
looked
man
like
in
Africa
the same state of
to me.
Odisha was attacked by a wild bear after he tried to pose for a photo with it. A disturbing video later surfaced of an angry crowd beating the animal to death as punishment. In a separate incident, a Japanese tourist was trying to take a selfie at the Taj Mahal when he lost his footing and tumbled to his doom down a staircase. And those are but two examples.
Accidents happen.
According to a study published by the Journal of Travel Medicine, there have been at least 379 selfie-related deaths over the past 13 years. Far more.
I think there's more than that.
Sharks during that same time frame.
Maybe in that
the
country.
Of the perfect picture can cause some individuals to disregard,
but not around the world.
Prioritizing likes over their own lives. And of all the countries examined in the study, India had the most selfie-related deaths by far, accounting for 26.4% of the total, followed by the United States at 10.3%. As a result, the Indian government, as well as numerous other governments around the world, are now beginning to take action against this growing epidemic by implementing no selfie zones, particularly in areas with steep drops and bodies of water. These measures are designed to encourage people to take in their surroundings and view life through their own eyes rather than through a phone screen. Not only so that they can enjoy a more authentic travel experience, but a safer one too. In essence, they're saying that it's better to live in the moment than to risk dying in it.
Alright, we're not going to watch the last one. It's pretty long. But anyways, that gives you an idea of what his channel is like. I've seen a couple of his videos before. I mean, it's okay. It's an okay channel. I'm not real huge on the channels that just, they relate stories of like true crime and stuff like that. I watch one every now and then, but I prefer seeing video clips of stuff rather than just hear them speak on it or talk about it, tell a story about it. I'm not real big on them kind of channels. They're okay once in a while to watch, but I usually don't watch them all that much. Anyways, you have an idea of what the Lazy Masquerade is like. Check out his channel if you want, if you're into this kind of stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.